Hey folks, here's a new idea that I was exploring for a teacher that wanted to display some data. In this case, the data was for each week, day of the week, Monday through Thursday. There was a certain unit that uh, question that was being asked. Students were responding, and this is the number in this column is the number of students that got that information correct. And the teacher had then been using color coding, but manually, like if it was 15, they color coded this color for this week would be blue, and they just colored 15 cells. So I took it a step further and thought I could automate this information for the teacher. So what we have is a couple of scripts, one script, and these scripts are connected to these buttons. So this script would just clear the data, so I could end up with an empty data sheet, and then this button builds the sheet and puts in the basically builds the chart. Essentially, is what it is. So what it's doing, let's take a look at the script. We have a spreadsheet. We're on sheet 10. We're getting the range A3 to D. So we're getting this data right here, A3 to D. And then we're going to cycle through these colors based on each week. So we're going to, and these colors, of course, are colors that you could modify by getting the hex codes that you would want for each color. And I had just chosen these light colors out of the palette. And then we're looking at the weeks, and so we're getting these values, and the week is row 0. So in other words, it's in each row we're looking at this is and it's week 1. So what it's going to do is apply a color to week 1, and then when it reaches week 2, it's going to apply a different color. It's going to cycle through those colors, and then we're getting the number, which the number of cells to colors from row 3. That's basically 0, 1, 2, 3. That's basically this number, and it's going to color that number of cells in that row, that color. And then also we're also grabbing that same number again with a different variable to insert that number into the last colored row. So then if it's not the current week, we get a different color, we change the colors, and then we start row index +3 because we basically are starting down here on row 3. Um, and the start column is 5 because we're starting to color here in E. And then we are setting the background color on, and again, this happens for each row as it cycles through this range, and it colors those rows. And then the last thing it does is set the value of the last cell, the last colored cell. It sets that number in there, so it looks like a nice chart. And then we're just having another function here to clear everything from A3 to AC down to the last row. So E3 to AC, just we're clearing the data. And we're not only clearing the background colors, setting all those backgrounds to null, we are clearing the content to get those numbers out of there. So again, just a real quick run through, reset the chart, it clears off the data, build the chart, and you get a, um, a nice chart. Now, if this number had actually been 21, and we could just build the chart again, and what should happen is we should get that, but notice that 15 stuck in there. So we would want to clear the chart, rebuild the chart. And what we could do, in fact, here's a simpler way to set this up is go ahead and before you, uh, we'll take this function, copy it, and before we actually run this function, we will go ahead and um, clear colors, and then we will go ahead and save that. And now if we just run this, let's move this, let's move this up to a bigger number just to show. So this is 24 now. If I build the chart, it should first clear the chart and then build the chart. So it kind of basically does away with the need for the reset chart. Just if the data changes, build the chart. So again, a quick, nice way to using AppScript to build a nice looking chart to visualize this data a little more specifically.